Elvis Presley and his vehicles. Part 5. The Pink Cadillac. Buying another Cadillac. On June 5, 1955, after his performance in Hope, Arkansas, Elvis and his date headed for the hotel in Texarkana. Near Fulton, the 1954 Cadillac started smoking from the rear. Elvis stopped and got out of the car. A couple of minutes later, the Cadillac was burnt to the ground. Elvis was of course devastated by the loss of his beautiful Cadillac. He toured frequently at the time, so during the next couple of weeks he borrowed his parents' 1955 Ford Fairlane. On July 5, Elvis came home from a gig in Brownwood, Texas, and had a few days off in Memphis. 2 days later he went down to the local Memphis Cadillac dealer, Southern Motors Incorporated, looking for a car to replace his burnt-up 1954 Cadillac. He found a brand-new 1955 Cadillac Fleetwood Series 60 Special. This car eventually ended up being a legend. The 1955 Cadillac Fleetwood was the brand's top-of-the-line series. It was equipped with a 331 cubic inch, or 5.4-liter, V8 engine producing 250 horsepower, connected to a hydromatic drive automatic transmission. Power steering was standard equipment on all 1955 Cadillacs, while power brakes and air conditioning were optional at extra cost. The MSRP for a 1955 Cadillac Fleetwood Series 60 Special was $5,350. Air conditioning, which Elvis' car had, was a $620 option. A total of 18,300 Fleetwood 60 Special were produced during 1955. The 1955 Cadillac Fleetwood Elvis purchased was painted Dresden blue with a black top. Elvis wanted the car pink, like his old car, so he had the car repainted within a couple of days. A neighbor of his from Lamar Street, Art, designed a custom color for Elvis and named it Elvis Rose. Elvis' Cadillac was painted that color, but kept its black roof. By July 15, 1955, Elvis' Cadillac was repainted and ready to go on tour. The first trip was to Minden, Louisiana that day, and then forward to Shreveport, Louisiana for the Louisiana Hayride, the day after that. These are the first known pictures of Elvis with his 1955 Cadillac Fleetwood. They were shot in Cape Girardeau, Missouri on July 20, 1955. Elvis had a show at the Cape Arena later that evening. These photos are also from the same day in Cape Girardeau. In these shots we can see that Elvis' 1955 Cadillac had a black roof at that time. On September 2, 1955, Scotty drove the Cadillac into a vehicle, which was passing a pickup truck in Texarkana, Texas, causing $1,000 of damage. October 3, 1955, Texas A&M Corps of Cadets checking out Elvis' Cadillac at College Station, Texas. Elvis had a show at the G. Rowley White Coliseum that evening. October 12, 1955, Elvis and his Cadillac outside Midland High School Auditorium in Midland, Texas. These are the last known photos of his car with a black roof. In early March of 1956, Elvis had the upholstery replaced, the body retouched and the roof painted white. On March 20, 1956, Elvis and his parents, Vernon and Gladys, moved into 1034 Audubon Drive in Memphis. This house was purchased with royalties from his first $1 million selling record, Heartbreak Hotel. In this photo we can see a close-up on Elvis' 1955 Cadillac Fleetwood at Audubon Drive. It is now wearing 1956 Tennessee license plates. In July 1956, Elvis was on vacation in Ocean Springs, on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and visited his girlfriend, June Juanico, at her place in Biloxi, Mississippi. Elvis brought his parents and friend Red West. On this a bit blurry photo from late August 1956, we can see that Elvis' 1955 Cadillac Fleetwood has had another update. Elvis has installed adjustable spotlights to both front fenders. Two fans leaning against the hood of Elvis' 1955 Cadillac Fleetwood, during the fall of 1956. The spotlights and the fender-mounted rear-view mirrors are clearly visible in this picture. In March 1957, Elvis purchased Graceland. In this photo we can see Vernon and Gladys, and the 1955 Cadillac parked up front. This photo is from the winter of 1957. The 1955 Fleetwood now carries 1957 license plates with a new number, 5905. This is because the car has changed ownership. Elvis gave the car as a present to his mother in 1957, even though she couldn't drive and never had a license. July 28, 1959. While Elvis was in Germany. The 1955 Cadillac now has 1959 Tennessee license plates with the new number. It was most likely registered to Vernon or Elvis now. On his return from military service in Germany in 1960, Elvis lent the car to his army buddy, Joe Esposito, for a while. In this photo from the early 1960s, the Cadillac is sitting under the carport at Graceland. This photo is shot behind Graceland in the mid-70s. The blue 1975 Lincoln Mark IV to the right, belongs to Linda Thompson, Elvis' girlfriend at the time. When Graceland opened for the public in the early 80s, the Cadillac was put under the carport. It had been sitting outside for over 20 years and had therefore fallen into serious disrepair. In 1989, the Elvis Presley Automobile Museum opened at Graceland. It featured over 20 vehicles once owned by the king of rock and roll. The 1955 Cadillac, which had been kept outside for many years, were now in rough shape. For the opening of the museum, Classic Car Company of Memphis had completed a frame-off restoration of the 1955 Cadillac. The car now looked fantastic. In 2017, the museum was totally overhauled and renamed Presley Motors Automobile Museum. In the old museum, the showcase was dark and the 1955 Cadillac was put up against a wall. In the new museum, it's nice to be able to walk around it. Since June of 1982, Elvis' 1955 Cadillac Fleetwood 60 Special has been on display at Graceland. The pink 1955 is one of very few cars that Elvis kept throughout his lifetime. Also, it's the car he owned the longest. The pink 1955 Cadillac has become one of the ultimate icons of Elvis and the 1950s, and is definitely one of the most famous cars in the world.